بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Continuing with the story of Musa alayhi salam. Yes, last week, the week before, we covered about the starting of the story, how he was born, the trials of Banu Israel at the time, and we took from that lesson a powerful lesson of al-qadr, that whatever that Allah is fa'alul lima yurid, Allah does as He pleases, and nobody can prevent the qadr of Allah. Fir'aun, who tried to kill all the newborn babies from Banu Israel, the boys, in order to try to prevent a prophecy, Allah made sure that it was him, the one who sheltered and looked after and brought up, and Musa alayhi salam was brought up in his very own home, to show you that the qadr of Allah is above everyone and everything. Continuing then, we said that after Musa alayhi salam was running away from Egypt, he had left Egypt because of what had happened. The elders or the nobles of the Coptic, the original Egyptians, those that were on the side of Fir'aun, they were attempting to kill and murder Musa alayhi salam. So Musa alayhi salam, he had left خائفا يترقب. He was scared for his life, and يترقب, he's looking around, looking right and left, making sure that nobody can see him, and he leaves Egypt, and he says, رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ, that, oh my Lord, save me from these oppressive people. And as he's leaving, the Mufassirin, they mentioned that he did not know where he was going. He's fearful of his life, and this shows that he's never left Egypt. He's always lived in Egypt. His entire life has been in Egypt. Although we don't know the details of his youth and all these things apart from the incident that's mentioned in the Quran, what we know clearly from this ayah is that it's the first time that he's leaving Egypt, so he doesn't know where he's going. And what does he say? He makes the dua when he says, قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِينِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ, that perhaps my Lord will guide me to the right way, the right path. And Allah guides him to Madyan. Madyan, if you remember from the story of Shu'aib alayhi salam, which, according to the more correct opinion, happened many generations before Musa alayhi salam. Madyan was that village, or the town where the people of Shu'aib, where they disobeyed Shu'aib, and Allah destroyed them, except for Shu'aib and those who believed with him. So Musa alayhi salam now has arrived to Madyan, away from Egypt, into near the Arabian Peninsula, into what we know as Sham today, modern day, the Levant. And as he's coming into Madyan, he finds that there is a well. He sees that there are people that are gathering water for their flock. Men that are around the well, and they are gathering water for their flock. And as he sees that these men are around the water and they're gathering water for their flock, he finds that there are two women that are tadudan. They are stopping their flock. So each of these shepherds, they have their flocks at the well, and there are two women that are preventing their flock from going to the water, trying to stop the flock from going near the water. And this is something that was strange to Musa alayhi salam. Why? Because naturally you would allow the flock to go to the water and get the water. But these two women, they are preventing their flock from mixing with the other sheep and the other cattle, and they are staying behind and not getting any water. So Musa alayhi salam naturally goes and says, "Ma khatbukuma?" What is the matter? What's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you preventing the animals from drinking the water? And they replied to him that we do not go near the water, we don't allow our flock to mix with the flock of the men until the other shepherds have finished. All the other shepherds are men. Until all the other shepherds have finished, then only we go and we get whatever's left. And it's mentioned that what they would do is they would take a large rock that it said it took 10 of them to carry, and they would cover this well, and the two women, they would go and they would try to get whatever water is left over. The fadlul ghanam, whatever was left from the previous cattle that were drinking the water, that's all that they were left with. What was the reason? Why is it that these two women are left to fend for themselves? وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ. Our father is a very old man. To explain that we would not be doing this in the first place. This is not the role of the woman that she comes out and she does such a job. But we are forced to do so because our father is a very old man. And Musa alayhi salam, just upon hearing this, didn't think twice, didn't start asking more questions and saying, how about I do this and you did this for me in return. None of that. فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. He went immediately and he gathered the water for their flock, for the flock of these two women. And as he's gathering the water, some Mufassirin, they mention that he did so after the people had done so. So the people have put down the rock. So it said that Musa alayhi salam went himself and carried this rock that was carried by 10 people. He moved this rock. He gave the water to the flock of these two women. And then after that, he places the rock back and covers the well. Here, regardless of what happened, or irrespective of what happened, what we know here is that Musa alayhi salam, he did them a beautiful favor, looking after them, seeing that they are weak, they are vulnerable, and there are no men there that are willing to be, that have any shahama, or what we call chivalry. No men there have any rujula, manliness, to go and help the weak and the vulnerable. Whereas Musa alayhi salam, if you remember the dua from the first part that we spoke, when he realized the strength that Allah had given him, he gave that man one punch and he killed him. What did he say? قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. He said, oh Allah, with this strength that you have given me, I will never be an accessory or somebody who's going to be to the aid of those who are criminals. Meaning I'm not going to be an oppressor. I'm not going to be a bully with the strength that you have given me. So what does that mean? Ya Allah, with the strength that you have given me, I'm going to do the opposite. Help the oppressed. Help those who are weak and vulnerable with the strength that I have. And that is what he intended to do when he killed that man by accident. So anyway, here Musa alayhi salam, seeing these women that are vulnerable and weak, and seeing that there are men here that don't care, and they're just caring about themselves, naturally being the good person that Musa alayhi salam was, good-hearted, he uses his strength to look after these two women, and without exploiting them, without asking them questions. The only thing he's asked them, مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. That's all that he's asked them. What's the matter with you? Once he understood the picture, once he understood the context and the scenario, khalas, no need to continue talking. He does what needs to be done. And after he is finished, and imagine how tired he is after doing this all by himself, looking after their flock, and he's come out of Egypt. And as some of the Sahaba, they mentioned, they said he came out of Egypt and he is barefoot. He has not had anything to eat other than perhaps leaves. All he could find is leaves, eating leaves. I want you to think about this. SubhanAllah, when we think about trials and tribulations and how Allah has tested us, this was the best of Allah's creation at his time. The best of Allah's creation at his time. And as Ibn Abbas mentioned, his stomach is tied almost to his back, meaning that's how skinny he's become. That's how weak he's become because of not being able to eat. And after he's done this hard work, even though he hasn't eaten anything, even though he is hungry, even though he is in need, what does he do? تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. He goes into the shade and he says, فَقَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. And we've talked about how important it is to learn the dua from the Anbiya. And if we notice from all the ad'iyah, from all the du'as that we have learned from the Anbiya, look at how they have adab with Allah. Look at Musa alayhi salam in how much need he is in the difficulty that he is in. What kind of dua does he make? He says, oh Allah, any good that you give to me, I am in need of. Any good that you present to me, oh Allah, I am in need of. Anything, faqir, I'm faqir, I'm in need of it. Whatever good that you can give to me, oh Allah. This was the dua of Musa alayhi salam at this time. To have, look at the good thoughts of Allah. That Allah is the one who gives to me. Allah is the one who provides for me. And I am the one who is in need of Allah. Not Allah in need of me. Allah is not in need of my actions or in need of anything. I am the one who is in need of Allah. And as he makes this dua, Allah says, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا. Here, the letter fa, they say this is for immediate response from Allah Jalla wa Ala. Meaning immediately after he makes this dua, Allah immediately responds. And what happens? This same, one of these two women, one of them comes, تمشي على استحياء. She walks in a way of modesty. Walks in a way that she's not exposing, what Allah has given to her from her beauty. And she's doing in a way that is with mannerisms. Not in a way that is arrogant, not in a way that is seductive. She comes to Musa alayhi salam, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاء. And what does she say? She doesn't start saying, thank you for what you did, and start exchanging some nice words. Let's have a bit of a chit-chat. Immediately she refers to her wali, the one who's her guardian, her father. إِنَّ أَبِي يَدْعُوكَ لِيَجْزِيَكَ أَجْرَ مَا سَقَيْتَ لَنَا. That my father, he's calling you so that he can reward you for that which you have done for us. Not me, we're not going to reward you, we're not going to do something. My father, my guardian, he is the one that is going to reward you for that which you have done for us. So Musa alayhi salam, he goes with this woman, and it is mentioned by Umar ibn al-Khattab and my others. It is mentioned by Ibn Abbas and Umar ibn al-Khattab and other companions and other tabi'een. They said that when Musa alayhi salam was going, she was standing in front of him and walking. But Musa alayhi salam, he didn't want her to be exposed like this, because this is a dangerous scenario, and also it's something that could cause rumors, it could cause things to be, people misunderstanding. So Musa alayhi salam, again, look at the rujula, the manliness and the shahama, the chivalry that he had. He said, let me go in front and you be behind me. Like, how is he going to know the way? He said, I will walk in front of you so that you are protected at the back. And whenever I'm walking and there's a turn or something like that, you get a stone and you throw it in that direction. Don't even speak to me. Don't even raise your voice. Just throw the stone in that direction and I will know which is the way. To show you here the complete adab that he had, and how he was treating the believing women, how he's looking after the rights of women. We're talking about how to look after your women, how to address the women, especially those who are not halal for you, those who are that you are not the mahram of. Look at how he dealt with them in a respective way, in a way where he maintained his chivalry, his manliness. This is very important in an age now where this no longer exists. People no longer have this. Somebody sees an elderly woman or somebody who's weak or vulnerable, and they're distressed, or they're in a bad situation, you just go past them. And if they're in something that is worrying, or something that is a difficult situation, some of you even now will take out the phone and start recording them. Somebody who's weak and vulnerable is in a bad situation, let me record and let me see what's happening. Nobody wants to be like Musa alayhi salam and help those who are vulnerable and those who are weak. So here, Musa alayhi salam, he goes now, and again, look at this. He's not having a conversation with her, not talking to her. He knows that this is a woman that is not halal for him. So he's respecting that this woman has somebody who is a wali, somebody who has a guardian over her. And this is the way of the Muslim. You don't go and you start speaking to the daughters of the believers or the sisters of the believers. Start chatting them up and doing all these things. It's not from the way of the Muslim. So here, look at what Musa alayhi salam, the qimma that he had, the peak of what? Of being a man, of being somebody who with respect, somebody with complete adab and akhlaq. Then look at what Allah says. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ. Now when Musa comes to the father of these two women, of these two women who had the flock with them, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَصِ. Now Musa alayhi salam starts speaking. Don't think that Musa alayhi salam is from his nature, that he's somebody who doesn't, he's Kareemullah. He's the one who loved speaking with Allah. He's the one who loved to talk. But here, look at this, out of, again, being a real man, not talking to strange women. Rather, he goes to the wali, he goes to the guardian, فَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَصِ. And he tells him all the stories. Surah Al-Qasas, the story of, the chapter of the stories. قَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص. Meaning he went and he told him all the details of what's happened in Egypt and all these things, until this father, this elderly man, he says, لا تخف, don't be fearful, نجوت من القوم الظالمين. You are now saved from those evil and oppressive people. But here, the point here, just to remember that, look, subhanallah, that when you have somebody who respects authority of the wali, of the guardian, he will not go and start speaking to those people, the women of his household, the women folk of his household. He'll be respectful and he will speak to them. And that's why we say, if a person wants, if you're interested in marrying a sister, you're interested in marrying somebody's daughter, you don't go through the back window. Don't do this Romeo and Juliet nonsense, going through the back window and climbing up or taking her number and texting her. It's not the way of the Muslim. Rather, the way of the Muslim is that he will go through the front door, getting the permission of the wali, getting the permission of the guardian. And here look, Musa alayhi salam, how he was with the father and how he was with the women. Keeping it minimal. No need to speak more than what is needed. Whatever was required, that's enough. Anything extra, I'm going to speak to your father. Even her, when she addresses him, Inna Abi. I'm not going to start speaking to you. My father is the one who called you, not me. To show you here the boundaries that we have as Muslim men and Muslim women. And this is not something that we should be embarrassed of or should see as extreme. SubhanAllah, in the workplace today, now everything that has happened, this is why you have all these cases of abuse and all this is happening, and look what women's rights now, that people don't respect women and all that. You are the ones who went and beyond the boundaries of Allah. You are the ones who breached the boundaries of Allah. When Allah told you to not breach those boundaries, you went and did that. And that's why you have these evils in society. But here in Islam, we say that no. If a person wants to go and marry, he goes and he seeks the permission of the wali. You're interested in someone, you've seen a sister, you like her mannerisms, you like the way she is, you immediately go and seek the permission from the wali. This is how it is done in the way of an Islam. We don't go behind the back. Imagine tomorrow, and I always say to those brothers that are doing this, and I'm speaking to a girl, I haven't spoken to the father yet. Tomorrow, that your daughter, what will you do to that man that is coming behind your back and speaking to your daughter? What would you be doing to him? I don't care how much you are infatuated with her or anything like this. You go and you do things through the right way, through the front door, not through the back window. If you're a real man, and wallahi, this is something for the awliya al-umur, this is something for the fathers, those who are guardians of women. If you see somebody who's coming, and he's coming to you directly, without having to go behind your back, then know that's the first good sign. That's the first good sign that he's coming, and he's got the bravery to come to you and speak to you directly, rather than try to come behind you. Some cases they'll ask the girl, "Oh, speak to your father for me." Well, what's this? This is not the way of Islam. It's not the way of men. So here, this is a good sign in a day and age that we're living in today. If you have the young man coming to your house, to your doorstep, and asking you, the father, asking you, the elder brother, the uncle, whoever is the guardian, and he says, "I want to propose, or I want to find out more about your daughter or your sister," then know that this is a good sign that's come straight away, and don't be hastening to throw him away and say, we don't know him. It's a good sign in this day and age, wallah. طيب. Moving on with the story, after Musa alayhi salam tells him and he comforts him, this elderly man, he comforts him and he says that you have now been saved from those evil and oppressive people. Here it shows you the importance of making people feel good when they are in a distressed situation, to give them the good hopes and not make them feel constant despair. Now you've come to a place that is safe. Allah has brought you here to Madyan. You are safe now from all that. You don't need to worry about يترقب. You don't have to worry about who's coming. Are they going to come? Are they going to seek me out? Khalas, Allah has saved you from these people. And this is to show you that this is life. تلك الأيام نداولها بين الناس. These are the days that we alternate between the people. Sometimes, and we look at the stories of the Anbiya, this is always the case. Hardship followed by ease, followed by hardship, followed by ease. And this is our life as well. This is the dunya. Hardship followed by ease, followed by hardship. This is the constant cycle that we go through. And so, after he has felt at comfort and ease that he's no longer going to be sought after, he doesn't have the worry of Pharaoh coming and the people and those oppressive people coming after him, what happens next? One of the women that was there, who noticed the strength and who noticed how trustworthy this man is, and how the rujula and the shahama that he has, she says to her father, and again look, she doesn't address Musa, she addresses the father, respecting his authority. Ya abat ista'jarhu. Oh my father, why don't you hire him? We should hire him. استأجره. You know, use him as a worker. إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. The best person that you can hire, the best person that you can employ to do this work is al-qawi al-amin. And these are two qualities that a young man should have in him. That he's strong physically, he's strong mentally, and he's strong in his deen, and he's also amin at the same time. He's somebody who's trustworthy, somebody that you can rely on, somebody that's not going to stab you in the back. Like Musa alayhi salam. He could have exploited those women with the strength that he had given. Think about any other man that has strength, sees two women alone, seeing that they're in need. Think about how today, you don't need to think about it, plenty of examples we heard today, where young and weak, vulnerable people in society, young sisters, our daughters being exploited by all types of men, wal-'iyadhu billah, may Allah protect our families. And subhanallah, here she's noticed these two qualities that are rare to find. So when you find them, she said, oh father, hire him. And this is also a lesson for our sisters, not to go over authority. The father is the wali, the father is the guardian, the father is the one who wants to protect you. He is the one that knows best. And subhanallah, some people, they have this difficulty. And for those of you that come from Muslim countries now, one of the things that we're facing is this idea of they want to get rid of the wilayah. They want to get rid of the guardianship of the father. Why should I have a father marry me off? I should choose whoever I want to marry. Allah and His Messenger ﷺ, they have not decreed anything in the Sharia except for your betterment. Why is you have we say even in English, it takes a man to know a man. You might be duped, and you know this is the case. It's not like I'm telling fairy tales here. This is the case. How many times are women duped by these kind words that a man will say, and he means nothing? I'm going to be with you forever. Like we said, this Romeo type guy that will come, I'm going to be looking after you forever, and trying to sweeten her up, soften her up with these words. But when it comes to the man to man, when it comes to being a real man, taking accountability, marrying her, look after her, being responsible for her, he doesn't want to do any of that. So a real man, and that's why I said, if a real man, he will come to your father because he respects you, because he knows that your father has a level of authority that is to be respected. Not because your father is a tyrant. I'm not talking about these extreme cases, and I know they are extreme cases. But the asl is, the basis is, that we have fathers that are loving to the daughters. And that's why, subhanAllah, there's that natural love that a father has for his daughter, that is protective over his daughter and looks after her and responsible towards her. So it's only right that that man comes and asks for his permission, so he can see. You, again, if it's up to you, you could get duped, ruin your life, and somebody that's come and he's done haram with you and he's left you be. As we heard many times over and over again. Otherwise, he comes to the father and he seeks your hand through a way where he is respectful, through a way where he is honest, and he's ameen and trustworthy. So here again, we learn this importance of the wilayah in Islam, the guardianship of Islam. It's not to be oppressive or tyrannical, rather it's to protect the interests of the woman. So what happens now when she suggests this to her father and he says, hire him, he's a good person, he's somebody who's strong, and he's somebody who's ameen, somebody who's trustworthy. The father being somebody of firasa, the father being somebody of foresight, he says, I'm going to go a step further. And he says, I'm going to marry you to one of my two daughters on the condition that you complete for me, you work for me for 8 years. And if you complete 10, فَمِنْ عِنْدِكَ, then this is from your good character. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ, and I don't want to make things difficult for you. You will find me to be somebody who is good. Here, subhanAllah, we can unpack many important things here. First of all, the fact that it is important that a person has, when somebody comes and is coming to marry your daughter, he has the responsibility of paying the mahar. What is the mahar for? To show financial responsibility. Even if it's something as simple as a bit of currency, a bit of gold, whatever it is, something that is very simple. The point here is that he is going to take financial responsibility. So here, what does he say? Again, another amazing point here, that this elderly man says to Musa alayhi salam. He said, I'll give you the choice. You can do the 8 or the 10 years. Whichever one you do is up to you. And then he said, وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. And this again is another message to the fathers. I don't want to make life difficult for you. And this is something that we have, I know definitely we have in Arab culture, especially those, when you think about back home, you want to get married? Here's the mahar, 150,000 riyal, million for the, 10 grams, 10, I don't know, kilograms of gold, 5 kilograms for the mother, 5 for the sister, 5 for her, 5 for this, give her this money, that money, this, making it difficult, and that's why they don't even end up getting married, wal-'iyadhu billah. Finding it so difficult to get married, they don't get married at all. And wallahi, this is a musibah. This is such a affliction that has afflicted the ummah. Rasulullah ﷺ said, if somebody comes to you, تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ, and you're happy with his deen, you're happy with his khuluq, not if you're happy with his bank balance, not if you're happy with how his house is, فَزَوِّجُوهُ. Part of his khuluq, part of his mannerisms is he's a responsible person. He's going to look after your daughter. He's going to be responsible towards her. And he has deen. He has fear of Allah. If he has fear of Allah, even if he doesn't have love for her, he'll still look after her because of the taqwa that he has. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave you these two conditions. Ad-deen wal-khuluq. Mannerisms, because that's how he deals with it on a daily basis. And his deen, so that he is responsible and accountable before Allah Jalla wa Ala. فَزَوِّجُوا. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam commands you, marry them off. وَإِلَّا تَفْعَلُوا تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ عَرِيضٌ. And if you don't do that, if you don't marry them off, then there will be great corruption in the land and there will be great tribulations that happen. And this is what happened, unfortunately. This is what happened. When people don't, a good suitor comes, he's not a doctor, a good suitor comes, doesn't have enough money, he hasn't got the 6-digit salary that I was waiting for, and they turn away somebody who is a better suitor. And unfortunately then what happens? Fitna happens, and at the end of the day, young people, they have their desires, they have their needs, and they go about fulfilling it in a way that is haram, wal-'iyadhu billah. So here, look, مَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. I don't want to make things difficult for you. You will find me to be somebody who's good, somebody who's understanding. So Musa alayhi salam, after coming to this agreement, what does he say? ذَلِكَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِكَ. This is between me and you. Whichever one I choose, whether I do 8 years or 10 years, then this is something that is between me and you. There's no aggression upon me, there's no transgression from me or from you if I choose to do the lesser one or the one that is more. We agree that I'm going to do both of them, either one of them. Wallahu ala ma naqulu, wallahu ala ma naqulu wakil. And Allah is upon what we see a witness. What we say, Allah is the one who is witnessing this. So here, subhanallah, we learn here the importance of when people are the believers, that the duty they have before Allah. And that a believer, when he says something, he sticks by it. And he sticks by it in the best possible manner. When he was asked, Ibn Abbas, in his hadith is in Bukhari, a Jewish man came and he asked one of the companions that which one did Musa do? Did he do 8 years or 10 years? And he said, the companion said, I don't know. Let us wait for the scholar of the Arab to come. Hibrul Arab. And who is that? None other than Abdullah ibn Abbas. So when Abdullah ibn Abbas comes, he says, which one did they do? قَضَى أَكْثَرُهُمَا وَأَطْيَبُهُمَا. And another one, أَبَرَّهُمَا وَأَوْفَاهُمَا. That he completed the more complete one, and the better one, and the more loyal one. Why? This man helped him, so Musa alayhi salam wants to give him the best possible return. And he said, this is what is befitting for a messenger of Allah. This is what is befitting of a messenger of Allah. Somebody does good to you, then you do even better to them. Somebody shows you appreciation, somebody looks after you, then you in return look after them in that which is better. And this is from the akhlaq of a Muslim. This is from the mannerisms of a Muslim. And here, subhanAllah, to finish off, it reminds me of a story that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us that happened from the previous nation, from Banu Israel. And this is something, wallahi, that we are lacking. This amana that we have in society is lacking today. Because of lack of taqwa of Allah, because of love of this dunya. And look at this, what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and we'll finish on this inshallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told the companions that there were 2 men from Banu Israel. One of them was looking to do a business venture. He wanted some money, and he asked the other one, can you loan me some money and I will return it back to you? I want 1,000 dinar. So the man, he says, okay, fine, here's 1,000 dinar, but have you got any witnesses that you're going to return this back to me. It's important that you have witnesses. Any transaction, whether it be marriage, whether it be financial, it's important we have witnesses. The man says, listen, we have no witnesses. Kafa billahi shahida. Taban, this is something that is for the previous nation, not something that we apply in this nation. So he said, Allah is enough for us as a witness. He said, okay, I'm happy with that. Radit. So, but what about if you're unable to make this payment? I need what we call a kafil, somebody who's going to be responsible on your behalf, a guarantor. Somebody who's going to be a guarantor. And he says, kafa billahi kafila. Allah is sufficient as a guarantor. And the man says, radit, I'm happy. So subhanAllah, both of them believe in Allah, both of them have taqwa of Allah, and they're both willing to go ahead with the transaction with only Allah as the witness and Allah as the guarantor. So the man takes the money and he gets he's going across to another country through the boat, through the sea, and he goes to the other land. He starts off his business. Alhamdulillah, he becomes successful, and then he remembers that now is the time, now is the maw'id, now is the appointment. I need to give that man back his loan, 1,000 dinar. And he goes back to the shore and he can find no boats. And he's worried now that if I don't find the boat and get there in time, the man is going to wait for me and he's going to think that I'm not being loyal. So he turns to Allah and he takes a log of wood, he makes a hole in this wood and he places in there 1,000 dinar and he seals it up. And then he turns to Allah and he says, Ya Allah, I took a loan, you were witness that I took a loan. I had no witnesses and I said that you alone are the witness. I had no guarantors and I asked that you be the guarantor. And so now I have nothing except for this wood. And oh Allah, I ask that you deliver this to this man as you were the witness and you were the guarantor. Look at the tawakkul in Allah Jalla wa ala. And so he allows this piece of wood to go on the other side. The other man on the other side, as he's waiting, and he's at his house, is waiting for this person to come back, and he finds out that he's not coming. So he says to his family, let me go out and I'll get some wood or something like that so we can, keep the house warm and things. So he goes out to the shore and he finds this piece of wood, takes it back to his house, cuts open the wood so that he can use it. And what does he find in there? The 1,000 dinar from this man. So he said, subhanAllah, here's the 1,000 dinar. Later on, this man eventually is on, look at this, subhanAllah, even though he's done that, he didn't say, khalas, that's enough now. If it reaches him, alhamdulillah, if not, it's not my fault. It stayed on him, his consciousness. He's saying, I have to give this money, I have to give this money. He's just given 1,000 dinar. He takes another 1,000 dinar and he eventually finds a boat and he goes across to meet this man. He comes down and he meets the man and he says, here, I'm sorry, I couldn't find the boat. Here's your 1,000 dinar. And the man said, Allah has already given that which you have sent in this log. Subhanallah. And look, again, that shows you the honesty. The man could have said, oh yeah, I didn't get it from you. Give me another one. I gave you 1,000, I get 2,000 in return. But look at this, subhanAllah, this is what happens when we allow the taqwa of Allah to be the center of our dealings, and when we deal with each other with amana, when we deal with each other by being responsible, by being accountable before Allah, by knowing that, yes, I have an opportunity. This guy is somebody that is not streetwise. I can easily cheat him. I can easily do him over and get more money out of him. But I know that Allah is watching me, and I know that I will stand before Allah Jalla wa ala. This is what makes the people have the best type of dealings. You don't need no CCTV cameras or HMRC to go and check accounts and all this. Person is yattaqillah, he fears Allah Jalla wa ala, and he's not somebody that is a fraud trying to take the money of the people. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.